welcome back to Project Cars 2 with a bit of a challenge. Now this go-kart here is quite fast for this track because you see this is the Glencarin Go-Kart track, and you see I'm hitting 70 miles an hour in a go-kart. That is some serious speed in a go-kart around a very short circuit. And I must say, this is one of the most technical circuits I've ever been on. Look at you can see the elevation changes. They need to catch out the go-kart here. And I'm not going to be driving a go-kart, because that would be dumb. No, I'm going to be driving many unsuitable vehicles, like Formula cars, race cars, I guess Formula cars are race cars, but Formula cars, LMP cars, Group C cars. I'll throw in a road car, just to see how that compares, but I'm imagining it to be quite difficult, and I'm going to try and set the best lap time I possibly can around the Glencarin Go-Kart track. Now, the slowest vehicle of the day was, rather unsurprising, Audi Huayra BC. It is a great car. However, it does not have nearly as much mechanical grip as the race cars to follow, as you might expect. It is much faster than most of them, and it does have a lot more power than most of them. But it just doesn't have the grip, it doesn't have the control, it's also quite heavy. It's about 3,200 pounds, which is the heaviest vehicle here by some margin. And it just doesn't have the speed, it just doesn't have the corner speed. It doesn't have the turning, it's just lacking in pretty much every category. And you can see we're getting up to 93 miles an hour, 92 miles an hour, which isn't bad. Remember, a go-kart track isn't bad. However, the go-kart that has 62 horsepower went 70 down there, and you're barely cracking 90. Yeah, it just doesn't have the control. It's just too uncontrollable. As much as I want the Audi Huayra to do well, because it is a fantastic machine and I really like how it drives, it just doesn't have that speed. It's just lacking that speed, which is a bit sad. I really like it, but yeah, you see here that the hairpin is by far the trickiest corner on this track, because it is so narrow and so tight, and the Pagani just can't handle it. So we do get a little bit faster than 96, but then we can't stop. We just can't stop. So, it is a bit unfortunate. But, yeah, the Pagani Huayra could only manage a 46.4 as opposed to the Go-Kart's 46.9. So it is faster than the Go-Kart, but it is by far the slowest vehicle here. Now, this is the Porsche 935, the second slowest vehicle on our list somehow. Don't know how this is, but yeah, it was not fast around here, and I think it's because of the little rule set that I did. You see, just for fun, because this is one thing that Porsche does not allow us to do, this game allows you to tune the boosting pressure for the turbos. So obviously, as a normal person would, I turned it up to 100%. And that meant the Porsche was the already mental Porsche 935 Silhouette Racer was already faster by a lot. So it was difficult to drive, to say the least. To see it's squirming all over. We can't get a full drop, but then it twitches. You can see that it is not a happy camper. And I think it's just lacking that mechanical grip. It just doesn't have the corners, it doesn't have the traction. The brakes are very good, as you might expect, but it just doesn't have the traction or the grip or the mechanical speed. It is 2 seconds faster than the Huayra, doing a 44.8 around here. But that's still not good enough. It's still not good enough. And then I spin it out, and then it gets very unhappy in a ditch. It gets very, very unhappy, and it just starts bouncing around. And that wouldn't be the last of the Porsches bouncing around. You see, I made a little bit of a mistake on one of the corners. So I was coming up here on the hairpin. I was already a little bit slow. This lap was pretty much destroyed. And that's was the next lap, in fact. You can see the time over there. And I'm trying to push, and I push a little too hard, hit the grass, and then I flip. And gravity decides to destroy my rear tires. It makes a tire about 5, probably about 605 on the rear, and the rear right axle is all screwed up. And both the back axles are messed up. So then, I reset the car. I'm like, I'm gonna fix it, gonna restart the session, gonna get the car back, and then it doesn't help, because the wheels are still messed up. And then it gets very unhappy, and it starts shaking, starts vibrating more and more and more, and then it starts getting very unhappy. Hands in the air, don't know what I did, but Porsche is very much unhappy with me, very unhappy. The next fastest vehicle was, surprisingly, the Mustang Boss 302 race car. Yeah, the 2013 Boss 302 beat a Porsche 935 on a go-kart track. Chalk that to things I would never expect to say. Might have outbrake myself slightly. This is my first lap, so I was just learning the track with this vehicle. It was the second vehicle I ran on this thing, besides the go-kart, so I was still a little bit rusty, but I still managed to get a decent lap with this rear-wheel drive Mustang at 43.398, which is okay. It is a second and a half faster than the Porsche, and it was a lot nicer to drive. It was the least powerful vehicle here, excluding the go-kart. Had about 450 horsepower, maybe a little less than that. And this was designed for the Continental Tiger Series, for that. So this was not... It was the easiest vehicle to drive, truth be told. Besides the upper, like, ultra-fast cars, this was by far the easiest one to drive. And that meant you could get a lot of lap speed out of a rather slow vehicle to begin with. So I think that's why this is faster than the Porsche, because it can actually go around a corner and you can actually push it to its maximum around this track. Yes, it does get airtime, and yes, it does get rather unhappy around the bumps, but in the end, it does manage to make its way on this line. I didn't nearly roll it on that curve. I didn't really roll it on that uphill curve. That curve is nasty. However, I did manage to eventually get used to it. Now, this is the first of the massive race cars that we had. The Group C monster, known as the Mercedes Sauber C9. It's a beast because, once again, I have tuned it up to a 100% boost because why not? And it's quite quick. Yes, it does really struggle around the hairpin. It really hates that hairpin. It has lots of wheel spin. But you can see the speed go to 110 miles an hour down that straightaway. That is some serious speed. However, it's still arguably not quite as impressive as the go-kart. And you can see the two-wheeling right there. That's what the Mustang did, but the Mustang did it even crazier. That one, this does help by having lots of rear, but has lots of grip. So the wheel spin isn't too bad. You can see here, I do go off a little bit, but I do have pretty much no wheel spin once I get back on the track. So that is quite nice in the Mercedes. One thing of note, I did have to turn off damage. One, because I didn't want to hit any I hit walls a lot. Two, because I didn't want the tires to wear out, because I wore them out very quickly in the test. And three, I wore the fuel out very quickly with this vehicle. Because if you put in simulation fuel, the base level fuel is 5 liters. That's it. Which is about enough with this vehicle's fuel tank draining at 8,000 RPM. It's about enough for a lap and a half. Which, when you're doing 6 or 7 laps to get the good lap time, you really need to be able to go maximum attack for that time, and you just can't with these gas guzzlers. Massive twin turbocharged V8, hundreds of horsepower. Still not getting the corners right. However, I did manage to get a pretty decent lap of 42.174. That's now 5 seconds faster than the go-kart. So, a go-kart is only 5 seconds down on a Mercedes Sauber C9. Yep, that actually happened. And I'm not really surprised by that, but yeah, go-kart was seriously putting up a fight against these these very powerful vehicles. Now in second place is, well, the modern day LMP car. The Audi R18 e-tron Quattro has over 900 horsepower, hybrid V8, naturally aspirated, and just enormous levels of grip. And since it is four-wheel drive, you can absolutely fly out of the corners. We're going 117 miles an hour, and actually getting it stopped for the corner. It's a monster. It is a monster. It's a bit terrifying around here because you're going so fast around the corner. I say going so fast, going 40 miles an hour. But since the track is so narrow and the walls are so close, and it's designed for a go-kart, 40 miles an hour is stupendously fast around here. And it is the first vehicle to crack the 40-second mark, doing a 39.755. That is pretty darn impressive. Yes, it is a full-on LMP car, but it is a rocket ship as well. And it looks like one. It does look like one. You can still spin it out, though, if you hit the grass. You can still spin it out if you hit the grass. But luckily I didn't hit that too much. I was getting the hang of the track by now. It is a very difficult track to master. The elevation changes are by far the craziest of any real-life tracks. And it is truly ludicrous. It is a unique challenge driving on a go-kart track in completely unsuitable massive vehicles, but you can get some fantastic lap times on here if you just use it the right way. You see a little bit of a slide and it's just so fast. It brings a new level of speed to go-kart tracks forever. Spinning again, but whatever. However, the victor is, well, the Formula 1 car. I guess it's technically a Formula A, because Formula 1 is a licensed product and you can't use that. But it is a new level of speed. Yes, the turning circle is atrocious. And yes, it does really like to murder cones. However, when you get it right, it is a new level of speed. There is LMP Car Fast, which Porsche is currently doing a world tour with a completely unrestricted 919 to go set some fastest lap records ever, and they're doing a pretty darn good job. It's faster than a Formula 1 car. So if we had that ability to turn off every restriction possible in an LMP car, yes, we could probably beat this car. But as of right now, with the current state of the game, this is the fastest car around a go-kart track. It's a question that nobody wanted answered, but everybody got. And you can see here, we're doing 125 miles an hour. 125 miles an hour. Holy crap. Trying to... This is 7 seconds faster than a go-kart. Which I'm not sure if that's impressive for the Formula car or for the go-kart. Because remember, the go-kart has 62 horsepower. And it is only 7 seconds slower than a Formula car. That's pretty darn impressive, if you ask me. But this is the champion of our little mini challenge here. I was a little surprised. I thought the LMP car would be quicker, purely based on the fact that this is rear-wheel drive and the LMP car is four-wheel drive and has more power. But no. This thing, it is absurdly fast. Yes, it's not as easy to drive as the LMP cars you see here that spin out. But once you get that groove on, once you get on the rails of this vehicle, it will stay there until you spin out for a while. But that was the episode of Perfect Cars.